Look at this image. What do you think it depicts? An intricate mandala? Perhaps a design for a rug. But what if I told you that this surreal pattern is not at all what it seems, but is actually a portrait of a cat? The artist behind this painting was Louis Wain. Wain was once known as the artist who changed the way in which people saw cats in the early 1900s. His cat paintings were renowned all over Europe. He transformed the perception of cats from mean and pest-like to bright and lovable creatures, bringing joy to thousands through his illustrations. But gradually, his mental health began to decline. He was certified as insane, and many people today believe that he may have had schizophrenia. He started experiencing vivid hallucinations and paranoia. As his mental health worsened, his artworks underwent drastic changes. His cats, which were once bright, lively, and charming, had morphed into vibrant, intricate psychedelic patterns. This was one of the last artworks he made at the very peak of his illness. Even when he was admitted to a psychiatric ward, he never stopped painting. Because even when the world around him didn't remain the same, he used art to express himself. The progression of these paintings show more than just an artist's journey. They show transformation. They show how perception can shift both gradually and dramatically. And this brings me to something personal. When I was younger, I would point to something and call it bright green, but my brother would insist that it looked yellow. We fought endlessly over who's right and who could simply not see colors. Eventually, we found that my brother has color blindness. For years, I couldn't bring myself to understand how someone was seeing the same world in such a vastly incorrect manner. Until I realized that it wasn't really wrong, it was simply his reality. My green may not be his green, your red may not be my red, but does that mean he, you, or I are wrong? No, because we could all stand in the same exact place and still experience different versions of the same moment. In my quest for understanding my brother in greater detail, I stumbled upon Claude Monet. Monet, who was once known for his paintings of water lilies, had experienced a dramatic change in his vision due to the development of a cataract. His bright blue and green palette had turned brown and muddy. His paintings, which were once known for their soft, wispy, beautiful impressionism, had morphed into strikingly darker tones because he could literally no longer see the world in the way he used to. This brings me to this jacket that I have painted. As you can see on the screen, this is a landscape painted by Monet. I have painted this same landscape using colors that my brother would see with his color blindness. My brother, Monet, and Wain all remind me of the same truth. Everyone's perception is unique, shaped by biologies, memories, experiences, and emotion. No one truly sees the world in the same way. And I think that empathy begins with accepting that our reality is only one version of what is possible. This brings me to the first thing that I learned from these artists' works: the importance of looking closer. Your perception of Louis Wain's art before versus after hearing his story must surely have a stark difference. If we only look at what is visible, we assume we fully understand what we see, but the story behind it completely changes its meaning. Just like these artists, People carry experiences of their own that they do not show on the surface. Only when we slow down and observe do we truly begin to understand them. The next thing that I learned from these artists is the importance of adaptation and resilience. Wayne's art evolved with his mind, yet he continued painting. Monet's world lost clarity and color, yet he continued painting. These artists never stopped painting throughout their struggle, and they never let their changing inner world stop them from creating the art that they were passionate about. Change remains unavoidable, whether it happens quietly, whether it happens dramatically. But the ability to adapt and keep moving forward is what keeps us growing. So, whether change stems from struggle, loss, or simply growing up, adapting does not mean losing ourselves. It means finding a new version of ourselves that still creates, that still improves, and that still moves forward, no matter how our story transforms. The act of showing up always matters. So maybe these artworks aren't chaotic at all. Maybe they're a reflection of a change. Maybe they're another way of seeing, just like my brother's colors were his way of seeing, just like Monet's late paintings were his way of seeing. All of them carry their own lens, their own palette, and their own struggles. And they remind us to look deeper, not just at art, but at people, and to keep moving forward. Because even when everything changes, the act of showing up always matters. So the next time you look at a piece of art or even at someone, remember my brother, remember Wayne, remember Monet. Remember that what appears chaotic might actually be a story waiting to reveal itself to you. Beauty and struggle can coexist in the same frame at the same time. And that sometimes the most extraordinary things are hidden, just waiting for us to look beyond the canvas.